Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 438. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Oh boy, this almost didn't happen. It was almost the end of us. Just kidding.
But kinda. The unit once again, technical issues. Promise, maybe like another 5-10 years of doing this, we'll get it to where we're good to go without the tech issues. Doubt it. But the universe said nope. This is an opportunity for Kyle to give Aaron Judge his props, and it's going to happen. As much as I tried to get out of it.
Awfully convenient Verizon Wi-Fi failures.
Dude, I was ready to throw this laptop across the room. I can assure you there was no fake outages taking place. It's one of those days. Nothing seems to go right, but what better way to cap it off than by having to talk about Aaron Judge for however long we talk about him. So
that's great.
What a day.
I love that.
I hate it. Nate, we are 2+ months into the season. And as our listeners very well know, that is, well, I've mentioned before, I'm with you on it, but I want to credit you for the 2-month sample size, as it were, because that's something that you're big on, something you believe in, and something that you think is a good indicator for how the season is going to go, whether it be for a player, for a team. Gives you enough of an idea of how things are going, whether good or bad. So with that said, wanted to just off the top here, talk about where things are at. I know games are going on right now, but we're about 60 games through the season. In fact, I'd say majority of the teams are exactly 60 games through the season. Some of the teams a little more obvious in terms of their success. So some of these teams we can pretty much write off in terms of any sort of playoff hopes. Shout out Chicago White Sox. Good luck. But looking at the standings, is there anything that jumps out at you? Is there anything that you anticipated happening? Again, whether good or bad, is there anything that has surprised you thus far?
My biggest surprise, I mean, if we're going to go like one team per league, I'm not going to sit here and say I was a believer in the Blue Jays, but like this is pretty alarming. You know what I mean? And when you talk about like a roster that is, I think a lot of other ball clubs would kill for, like you got a couple names in there that you would expect just another year of maturity, another year of being able to take that next step, like, the Vlads and the Bows, but it's just like that pitching staff and you're like, I don't understand. I'm kind of lost, man. Like vibes are high in Canada. We have these renovations in the park. It seems like Vlad and Bo are ready to earn contracts long term, whether it's with this organization or another, but it's like, it's just weird, man. Like, I don't know. I don't follow. It doesn't compute. So that one's a big one for me. I think the other one would probably be the Reds. I know that was like a little bit of a bold take, but I wasn't alone there. You know what I mean?
No,
like, there's a lot of people that were pretty high on the Reds. And not like sitting here and saying the NL Central, you're going to see like a 95 to 100 game winner lead that or win that division. But I mean, at the moment, they're 7 games under 500. They're 9.5 back in the division in last place. And it's just like, it's super underwhelming. So,
And
these are probably
somehow
my big
only
surprises.
somehow only 3 games back in the wild card.
Yeah, it's just the top. The NL is just so top heavy.
For me, taking the one in each league route, I would say that I think this, again, touching on the 2-month sample size, I think the Royals have proven 60 plus games through, that they are real. They're very much here to stay. I would venture to say for the remainder of 2024, and that they're a legitimate threat come October.
Yeah.
I would imagine they're going to hit some sort of slide sometime in the near future, as majority of these teams. I mean, you have to be absolutely dominant up and down the roster to make it through 162 relatively unscathed. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Royals are going to be free and clear of any sort of skid.
Yeah.
That's coming, but I think they've proven that they're not going to be at the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
Come September. So love to see that.
Real quick on that, I was talking to my father-in-law the other day, and he's got like one of his good friends that when Arizona, a lot of people in that generation snowbird. So you'll get people here for, from like October to April, and then they go to wherever other city during the summer. But one of his good friends is from Kansas City, huge Chiefs fan. And he's like, yeah, the city is bumping when the Chiefs are rolling, but it's way different when the Royals are going. It's like,
really?
He's like, it is baseball town. Like it feels different when the Royals are hot.
Wow.
So it's cool to see, man. It's really cool to see. That
makes me feel good, man, because it's well documented. I was high on the Royals to start the season, and like I said, I think I think they're well on their way towards at least contending for a spot in the postseason. And my goodness, would seeing Bobby Witt in the postseason just not be the greatest thing?
Honestly.
My goodness. And then in the National League, kind of a little bit under the radar of a pick, but the Nationals, as it stands right now, they're just about where I had them pegged to start the year. When I was talking about how they're not going to compete for the division, certainly. And with the way the Phillies are playing, not even a question. But they have improved. And granted, they're 4 games under 500 at the moment.
Yeah.
That's kind of still where I had them. Like I'm not saying they're going to be 10 games over when it's all said and done, but they're making improvements. And I'll be honest, I've been saying for a handful of seasons now, like, just give it time, let these pieces fall into place, let these pieces develop. And I think they'll be a lot better in the near future. And I think with the help of CJ Abrams and names like that, I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, if they finish the season at 500, like, I would consider that a wildly successful turnaround and like a very good step forward in the right direction. So I'm with you. I'm surprised. I know you're in the area, so like it's easier to kind of have that finger on the pulse a little bit, but right. I am surprised too. So good for them.
Funny enough, you taken 2 of the negative surprises, and I just without even thinking about it, took two of the more positive surprises.
And based on your Wi-Fi, I thought you were going to be the negative one tonight.
You know what? Well, that's a great segue into our next topic, which is our headlining topic, and that is Aaron Judge. This is your guy, so I'm going to let you run with this, but just know that I do have some numbers prepared to give this man his flowers as it stands to start the month of June. But tell us, open our eyes to the world of Aaron Judge and what you've been able to witness Not really. I mean, we can talk Judge for sure, but I feel like you can't talk Judge right now and not mention Soto. So maybe give us an idea of just how insane this turnaround for Judge has been.
I mean, we'll read off some nuggets. I have like random nuggets to read off as far as numbers go, but I think it's maybe one of the best months of baseball I've ever watched offensively. Like it's kind of laughable when you see what he's doing. It's hard to put into words, man. Like it's obviously I love the depth of what that lineup has become when these two guys are going right. I wasn't worried after he started. Like, I think I was for sure there's a ridiculous amount of Yankees fans that were like, send him down, let him get right. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Hold on. This is news to me. This is legitimate news to me. Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. There was like a big number of Yankee fans that were like, send him down. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Do you think any of them were over the age of 20?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Probably not. There's probably some bots mixed in. It was strange. It felt weird. And we got to remember that like he did miss a big chunk of spring training, and like having a slow start is having a slow start. Like, it is what it is. I will say, I think a lot of his turnaround and the credit has to go to Soto for every single pitcher to deal with Soto before getting to Judge. It changes everything. For Judge to be able to see, I mean, and it's a big credit to the way Volpe's been doing too. I mean, a huge jump up from his rookie year. So to see 10, 12 pitches before he even gets to the dish is like, that's a huge advantage. And every pitcher, it's like, you have to be on. You have to be spot on with Juan Soto. You got to be spot on again after more often than not losing that battle to Juan Soto. So it's a crazy, crazy jump for what he's doing. And I wanted to look back because I remember recording, and I wanted to find the exact day here. It was, let's see, I think it was the last game. Is that it? That's it. It was the last game of the Tigers series. It was May 5th. That was on a Sunday. We recorded after that game. And I said, Tariq Skubal pitched and Judge hit a home run to right. And I said, it's coming. Here it comes.
Yep. You absolutely said that.
This is like the tell. When he starts going the other way and he starts, because the few games before, it was like, all right, a ground ball through the right side. All right, a hard line drive to the right side. And all of a sudden there's lift to the right side. And you're like, he's back. Here it comes. And sure enough, it's when he starts staying middle of the field and everything's just left center tanks and right center tanks, it's absurd, man. And it's the fastball's in, it's the off speed down. He's covering everything. It's one of the most dominant offensive months I've seen from a Yankee ever, much less like another player.
Can I throw some numbers at you?
You got some nuggets? Let's see if we have the same nuggets.
We probably have the same nuggets.
Let's try it.
Well, let's recap his month of May. He was it yesterday that it was announced that he was the player of the month, which everybody knew that was coming. Like, even if you weren't thinking about it, if you had to guess, probably Aaron Judge. Over the month of May, a 371 average. He hit 14 bombs, 27 ribbies, had an on base of 488, slug 928, and an OPS of 1415. in this giant series. Arson Judge, as it were, went 6 for 10, had 3 bombs, including a 2-homer game. I think that was on Saturday, possibly Friday.
Yeah, Saturday.
6 ribbies, and he even had 2 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Since this is from Codify, nobody has more home runs since April 27th than Aaron Judge, because of course they don't. Also, nobody has more hits, walks, runs, RBI, or total bases since April 27th. And just one more nugget here for you related to that. Regarding the total bases, in the month of May, he had 85 total bases, which was 13 more than the next man in line, Jose Ramirez, with 72. To put things into perspective, because we can look at some of these names and go, wow, these guys, even if I hadn't even mentioned how many total bases Aaron Judge had, and you had to guess, these names, you're probably going, they're probably up there on the list because these guys are balling out right now. Corey Seager, 62. Bobby Witt, who's just been playing out of his mind, 61. Rafael Devers, who is there for a stretch, was the hottest hitter on baseball, 60. Brent Rooker, who has been one of the lone bright spots for the Oakland A's, 59. Juan Soto, who we'll touch more on, 59. Kyle Tucker, who's pushing for an MVP.
Hot names, yeah.
58. And Bryce Harper, who was the National League Player of the Month, 56.
And what was Judge again?
85. So the difference in total bases between your AL and NL Players of the Month, 29.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge is on another planet right now.
And there's been and there's been road trips. So like if anybody wants to sit back and just start claiming Yankee Stadium stuff, there's been a big mix of road trips in here, specifically this long one through California. And Petco and and Oracle were both looking like regular fields that just didn't seem to matter.
Which is just crazy, because going back to one of your original points and saying that this is one of the most impressive season or months you've seen offensively, maybe ever, for him in various statistical categories. I don't have the complete list, but you can go back and look. He had the best calendar month of his career regarding OPS with 50-plus plate appearances in May with a 14-15, as I mentioned. His previous high was May of last year at 1356. So quite literally, that may have been based on what statistics you want to use to prop up your case. We might be looking at Aaron Judge's best month all time of his career.
And that's crazy. We didn't have the same nuggets, by the way. One's kind of close.
Lay it on me. What else you got?
These are, to be fair, we thought we were going to record last night. So
Sure.
I have screenshots of tweets that may be outdated at this point. They didn't play today, but I don't think this was including. Maybe it was. I don't know. Whatever. Bob Nightingale tweeted yesterday, 2 days ago. Aaron Judge, with another homer tonight, now has 278 career home runs in just 895 games. The quickest to 300 home runs, Sammy Sosa, with 1,052 games. Judge needs 22 more home runs to get to 300, and he's most likely going to do it in like 100 less games than Sammy Sosa. Nuts. Another Nugget Chef. I mean, just a great account there.
Ooh, I think I know. I think we got this one.
You got this one?
I think so.
Aaron Judge's 1544 OPS over his last 25 games is the third highest OPS by any player over a 20-game span in the last 15 years. Behind Christian Yelich at 1576 and Shohei Ohtani in 1549. Yelich did in 2018. Ohtani did in 2022. That's what I was talking about. Like, this is legit one of the, that's one stat. That's just OPS. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is absurd. And then my last nugget which is easy. Home runs, his MLB ranks, not just AL, MLB ranks. Home runs first, slugging first, OPS first, WRC plus first, barrel percentage first, hard hit percentage first, doubles second, walk percentage second.
This is on the season, not just May.
This is the whole season. Oof. So when you're talking about the hole that he started in April,
that's why I asked, because that's
for him
impressive.
to in a month climb that list, to not just be in the conversation, to lead major categories. Again, Soto being a part of the picture, and there was a great segment on MLB Now this morning. I got to give them credit. It was Harold Reynolds, it was obviously Brian Kenny, and it was Bob Costas, and they talked about, like, you're not a fan of some of these names. I wasn't a fan of some of these names, but when you're talking about Stroman, Verdugo, Soto being added to this lineup and being added to this clubhouse, it's completely changed, like, the personality. It's completely changed, like, and you've made fun of it, like the dog mentality, but, like, it's worked. It's flipped things around, and it's helped. Like, everything else on the roster has been pretty. I mean, that's pretty. They use the word stale. It's been a pretty stale roster until you enter in these guys. So a lot of credit goes to all of that, and, like, everything that comes out of the guy's mouth is spot on. Everything that Aaron Judge says as a captain is just spot on, and he decides. He was quoted saying, he was like, "I just kind of feel it out each day. Like, if Anthony Rizzo needs to be a leader that day, I sit back and let him be the leader and let him be the vocal one. If I got to step in and be that voice." So it's like he's adopted this role. It's hard to imagine a guy more comfortable, man. It's fun to watch.
Stop doing this to me. Don't make me like him. Don't make me like him.
Crazy. But, like, if every interview, listen to any hater.
I get it.
I get it. I understand. I'm going to sound biased here. It's okay, and that's fine. You can hate the Yankees all you want, but it's like he's on this trajectory of the respect that Derek Jeter just had widely. You can throw numbers at him. You can argue whether he was an overrated shortstop. You can argue all these numbers and argue against the Yankees and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, the guy has respect from everybody. Aaron Judge is following that path.
I hate to say it, but I would hope that you would agree with me on this. I don't think he can say all the right things in the same fashion that Jeter did, but it's not going to matter until he wins a ring. Like, the fact that he doesn't have one yet, that's alarming.
1,000%.
But and I don't say that as a knock against the guy. I do, but I don't. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
But there won't be anything that he can do to put himself in that echelon, in that upper echelon that Jeter's in, and really any other all-time Yankee that you want to plug into that conversation, until he joins them in the ring conversation. And he's not there yet, and he's not even close to reaching the ring totals of some of those guys. But the fact that he doesn't have any, that's a little alarming. So
I'm at the point, like, I don't know what else it takes for this team to win a ring.
You better better figure it out this year.
If this isn't it, like, I don't know what it looks like, and I may not witness it again for a while if it doesn't happen with whatever's happening right now. Whether it's this year or next year and they run it back with a carbon copy of the roster, I don't know, but it's got to happen. The man's 32. Like, it's got to happen.
Man, we're getting old.
We're running out of time.
Old.
Yeah.
Getting old. Let's switch gears here. Talking about Aaron Judge being back. In that same vein, wanted to talk about maybe some other names that we would like to think are back after maybe a slow start, or maybe coming off of a slower end to last year, and maybe you're finally getting back into the swing of things. I think the U.S. Air Force is flying over.
It's that stupid street sweeper. You know, do you have those out there?
I know what you're talking about.
It looks like a big Zamboni or whatever.
I tell you what, man, they do some weird things at weird times at your place,
so
man.
random. It's so random.
Like landscaping in the middle of the 100-degree day. Like, why not do that in the morning? And then street sweeping at dinner time. Like, folks are just trying to enjoy a nice meal, and the street sweepers are like, "No, this is our time." What is this about, man?
It's hard to say.
What is this about?
We got some clean streets, though. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, I mean, at what cost, though? I mean,
shoot. Well, I could tell you the exact cost. Because HOA is absolutely bending us over. So
boom, hate that. Speaking of bending over, let's talk about what Yordan Alvarez has been doing to these pitchers recently, dude. And I'm glad we got pushed to tonight because sure, lo and behold, got another bomb update from Yordan Alvarez in fantasy. Glad I kept him. As through some of the numbers I pulled through his first 60 games of the season. He started off a little slow for his standards. He still had the pop, but he wasn't spraying it around the field. He wasn't putting it in the seats as at a clip that I would venture to say he would have been happy with. Through his first 40 games of the season, he was hitting .256. He had 40 hits with 8 home runs, 21 ribbies, 23 runs scored. And again, that was in his first 40 games of the season. His 20 games after that, his average bumped up to .333. He had 3 home runs in that stretch and 7 runs scored, 5 ribbies, 7 runs scored. So nearly was halfway to his home run total from the previous 40 games of the season in half that time thereafter. So starting to pick things up, and you can tack on, you can say he's halfway to his home run total from that 40 game stretch now officially, now that he's logged another one tonight. So the thing that I think is leading to this success, his strikeout rate is down from last year. However, his walk percentage is as well. So I think for Yordan, if he can get that walk rate back up, if he can start seeing more pitches, if he can start seeing it deeper into counts, I think you're gonna start seeing, because you very well know if you're able to get deeper into counts, you're able to foul some balls off. You as a hitter are at the advantage because you're seeing more and more of what the pitcher has in that given at bat, and Yordan is not going to be somebody that's going to shy away from taking full advantage of that advantage. So I think if he can get that walk percentage up, if he can start seeing some more pitches, I think he'll be much better off. And the other thing to keep in mind with Yordan is his May versus June splits. Regardless of whether or not that walk percentage comes back up, I think we can sit back and just settle in for the month of Yordan, because career-wise for Yordan, from May to June, his average jumps from 285 to 331. His slug jumps from 526 to 684, and his OPS jumps from 890 to 1116.
Oh my gosh.
And as somebody that loves month-to-month splits, I've said that many times on here before, that makes me really excited.
Yeah.
As his fantasy manager. So I'm really thrilled about
It's a good get. It's a good get.
I'm thrilled about what's to come for Yordan.
Yeah, and talk about the rest of that lineup. Like Kyle Tucker, as you mentioned before, entering, MVP conversations. It seems to me that Bregman has started to turn things around, started to get a little bit hot. So like the better that lineup gets, it's makes things even more challenging for anyone else. So anyone opposing them is in trouble. You want to alternate?
Yeah, who do you got? Who's a batter you think is heating up?
Yeah, give me one of your favorite players based on what you're wearing. Give me Brent Rooker, dude.
Boom.
Give me Brent Rooker. And the tough thing is that like I can't go as deep. I don't think there's enough sample size considering last year was his rookie year. So it's like it's hard to just get into what his career month numbers are. But just looking in the month of on I believe RotoWire or StatMuse, one of the two. I can't remember what I was using today. They do like a split where you just automatically grab March and April. So, which is stupid. We've already had that argument, so I'm not going to pull at that thread. March and April, 20 games, hit 206. In May, 26 games, hit 330. 5 home runs to 6 home runs in May. A climb of 13 RBIs to 22 RBIs. Here's the big jump, though. OPS jumps from 769 in March and April all the way to 997 in May. K rate drops from 40% to 29% in May.
Oh.
WRC plus jumps from 123 to 186. I was like, what's going on? How does this happen? You know what I mean? How does my guy just get it going? And again, he's young and he's playing for a lifeless organization. So it's like, you can't blame the guy for a slow start. But he came onto the scene last year, and I think everyone was kind of waiting, was like, is this guy real? You know what I mean? And you see him turn it on in May, and you're like, he's back. He's in that conversation again. And obviously, like the lone bright, star over there. But I figured out what it was, and it seemed to me like he was just not great timing-wise, and you're probably just like, duh, yeah. Obviously, he's going to be not great with timing, but the pull percentage, that's where I found the biggest jump. March and April, he was only pulling the ball 24% of the time. In May, 55% of the time. So my man started to get the barrel going, started recognizing stuff in, probably understood that the way he was getting attacked, and that's what good hitters do. They figure out how to like go find that hole that pitchers have discovered and start covering it. So Brent Rooker, I think the A's got something cooking, man. And it's gonna take some time. This is probably similar to what you've been saying about the Nationals the last few years, but like I think they got some stuff. If they really hold strong on Brett Rooker, if they really hold strong on Mason Miller and like start building around these names, you can see something.
It's a tall ask.
It is a tall ask.
Tall ask. It's not a tall ask, however, to wonder whether or not Max Fried is back, because he is. Max Fried on the season 5-2 with an ERA of 2.97. However, his K per 9 rate is at the lowest it's ever been in his career at 7.3. However, his last 4 starts have been excellent. His last 4 starts, he's rocking an ERA of 1.27. He's only allowed 4 earned runs over 28 1/3. In that span, he's had outings of 8 and 9 innings pitched and has 22 total Ks.
My goodness.
His exit velo and hard hit percentage are down from last season. I want to say his exit velo is in the 99th percentile right now. He's utilizing his sinker more, relying on his curveball less, which I feel like, I could just be pulling this out of thin air, but I feel like sinker usage has been something talked about very heavily over these 2 months of the season. I don't know if that's becoming more of a trend amongst these top arms, but I feel like I keep hearing sinker a lot more. And they're even, as we've talked about with the splinker,
yeah,
they're pivoting off of the sinker itself to figure out different ways to alter movement or velocity with that pitch. So I don't know. Maybe the sinker is becoming more of a commonplace pitch for some of these arsenals. Additionally, his ground ball rate is the second highest it's ever been. So It sounds like as Max Fried, with every day of his age that passes, is finding new ways to adapt, new ways to adjust, and he's making it work. He is
Playing
making
for a
it
contract
work.
too.
Playing for a contract, and he's looking good doing it right now. I mean, like I said, these last 4 starts have been very impressive, and it's what I said. You go back to I want to say it was a CG against Miami, where I was like, this is great, because he stumbled out of the gate there early in the season, but I said, give him this start to build off of, this CG, and it's hard to put too much stock into it because it's the Marlins, and as we know, Marlins are an unserious franchise, but we said just sit tight, see how he rebounds from this slow start, and he's hitting every stride that we would expect him to at this point. So
I love that subtle jab too. I think we just need to start saying unserious franchise. I love that. It's sophisticated, but it's also a jab. So I appreciate that.
that's the Marlins for you.
I wonder where he goes, man. I'm really curious. Because I don't know what it is, and Braves fans, get in the chat and let me know. It just doesn't feel like Atlanta wants him back. It just doesn't. I don't get that sense, and I don't know if the way he plays forces their hand. But I just, it's hard to say. I don't know if maybe AA just has this mentality of I will find this production. Look at what Chris Sale's doing. And maybe he's just like, I will find this production elsewhere without giving you that bag.
Yeah, but they're playing with fire in that regard. Like, even with Chris Sale, I don't know if that's the guy you want to point to and be like, I can find Max Fried production elsewhere, because Chris Sale is a walk across the street away from being out for the rest of the season. So
for sure. I'm not saying Chris Sale is the guy that is moving forward, but I'm curious to see if how this progresses. And as good as he's doing, I don't know if the Braves, especially down Acuna, especially down Strider, can go win this division. So it's like, do you bring him back after what is most likely going to be a wild card appearance, losing momentum on a deep run? I know it's just May or just June, but I don't know. It's so weird to see how that's going to play out. And I think dude's going to get some money. So,
yeah, but I wouldn't put it past the Braves to figure out something. They're wizards when it comes to contracts.
I kind of want them to say. Because it's weird to just have that piece of the core go away. So, yeah.
Who do you got?
My guy. I'm going with one of my fantasy men. That sounded weird. It sounded real weird.
Yeah, let's sorry. It had to be done. Sorry.
It's just a crazy thing that
happened. I don't even know. Full confidence just rolled right into it. One of my fantasy men.
It came out way too smooth. One of the players that represents the Dodgers pitching on my fantasy team, Gavin Stone. I was a huge benefit of Mr. Bobby Miller last year, a free agent pickup early in the season. Gavin Stone. I had this feeling. I don't know what it was, but I was like, something about the Dodgers and young pitching is going to make this happen. And I was close to dropping him. March and April, 5 starts, which is great. This is perfect because he made 5 starts then, made 5 starts in May. It's a very easy sample size to compare. Had a 4.68 ERA. In May, 1.97. 1.44 whip, dropping down to a 1.0 whip. Hard hit percentage takes a big dip at 32%. March and April drops down to 18%. And the K to walk percentage jumps from 5.5 to 14.5. So my man has started to figure out the swing and miss stuff. And batting average against drops from 253 to 227 in the month of May. So heck of a month. Something that like is when you see a young guy figure things out, like maybe get punched in the face. We're seeing names that are like being sent down and going back to AAA to cook some more. And so I don't know what it is about like the just Major League Baseball right now of like not wanting to send young guys back down. And I was worried about Gavin Stone. So I was like, I wonder if the Dodgers are doing that or they're just fitting into the mold of scared teams that aren't wanting to take that dip. So, but look at him figure it out, man. 5 starts in May and did really good. So curious to see if he can keep it rolling. But I like the young kid. It's fun to watch.
I love it. Honestly, based on what you're telling me, that pretty much lines up with, I hate to say, my interest in Gavin Stone, but those numbers that you shared from early on, I was kind of interested to see how this year would pan out for him. But then he started slipping. I was like, I feel like I need to look elsewhere for some young arms to latch on to. But from what you tell me, it seems like need to be checking out some Gavin Stone starts moving forward.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it for the lad. Any other notes there on guys we think are back? Because we got a topic here that I didn't foresee covering, but last night made for quite a story. So wanted to give you a chance to wrap up anything before we move on.
Well, this is just keep an eye out on some of those other teams, man. It doesn't have to be the big dogs. The A's got some dudes to watch. It's just there's good names all around the league that you got to just keep an eye out for.
I'm about it. Let's talk about, you know, speaking of keeping an eye out, do we need to keep an eye out for Tommy Pham? Like, if we talk about him right now, is he going to show up at our door ready to dismantle? Ready to dismantle our faces?
This is a make my day state. So let's go, Tommy Pham. I'm knocking on my door. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Are you?
No.
Tommy Pham, dude. Once again, I saw a comment today that perfectly summarized Tommy Pham's career. I feel like is 80% of Tommy Pham headlines are related to things that have nothing to do with actually playing the game of baseball.
Yeah, sure.
And that's pretty much accurate. And I know a play at the plate is what sparked all this, so it's sort of right, sort of not. But you get what we're saying here. The Tommy Pham incident with William Contreras. Like, what are we? There's so many. I feel like there's so many things to unpack here.
Yeah.
If you didn't see the play, pull it up. You'll see what we're talking about. Play at the plate. He gets hosed at the plate. There's a ball.
It's not even close. Yeah.
Yelich. It was Yelich, right?
Yeah.
Yelich throws it in, hoses him at the plate. The route he took.
That's the biggest thing for me.
What are we taught? You can't run to the pitcher's mound on your way home. He was halfway there.
Yeah.
Like I saw a screenshot of the feed from the camera down the left field line.
Oh,
and
I didn't see that angle.
Yeah, dude. It was
just absurd. Like outside of the third baseman almost.
I gotta send this to you. You need to see this. It was insane. And I'm going, is this what they're teaching the guys in the league now? Because this is not what we were taught. I mean, I get what he's going after, but you look at that.
My goodness, dude.
It's terrible. Yeah, gets hosed at the plate, gets up. William Contreras is, as you would expect, pumped after play at the plate, which I feel like wasn't really addressed enough, wasn't really talked about enough. Like, I don't care if I think Tommy Pham took issue with the fact that he was pumped because the play was so like it was clear as day that he was out. Like he beat him by like half the length of the base path. I think William Contreras is probably just pumped that, any play at the plate. I don't care if he's out by a mile or it's a bang bang play. Any play at the plate, that's a big deal. That's one of the more exciting plays in baseball. But Tommy Pham took exception to it, and I've got the audio here queued up from his presser after the fact, and here it is.
1-run ball game, close play at the plate, and actually it wasn't even fucking close. There's a shallow fly ball to left field. You would expect the left fielder to throw the base runner out on that play, but the situation of the game, third base coach sends you, you got to go. I'm nailed out at home by a mile. I'm going to the dugout, and I hear the tough guy with all the hoorah shit. So I'll never start anything, but I'll be prepared to finish it. There's a reason why I do all kinds of fighting in the off season, because I'm prepared to fuck somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
Easy, Tommy Pham. It's a family show.
Come on, dude. Yeah, thanks. I'll probably have to flag the episode now, Tommy. We make every effort to keep this a family program, and you're out here just ruining it for everybody. Apologize for the language, but I'm not surprised. And I think the narrative after this incident, as it has been for just about every other Tommy Pham incident, is that he just comes across as a fake tough guy. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he is with certainty, but it's just the way in which he talks about it just gives off the vibe of like, all right, dude, like how many times are you going to say it?
Yeah.
The instance in which you did get physical, it was a slap. So what are we really supposed to take from that?
Excellent point. Maybe that's why he got into like fighting classes in the off season, was after the slap.
That's a great point.
Because it's like, what a my guy. Yeah,
he's like, cool. I can't be embarrassing myself like this.
I know. So look, you mentioned the angle. Like, I have no problem with William Contreras being like, you clearly were coming at me there. You're 6 feet inside the baseline, and you're obviously like seeking contact. I'm going to eat that and flex on you all day. I'm totally fine with that. And I'm actually a big fan of like whatever attitude he's bringing to the Brewers. I never understand the chirping while I'm working backwards towards my teammates. Hold me back, and I'm just going to keep leaning back away from you. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of benches clearing when nothing happens. Make it real for me. Make this the NHL. Let it eat. Just get after each other. And then the shadow boxing as he's walking out. That really tipped me over the edge. The shadow, yeah.
Dude,
ridiculous.
Like, who are you trying to impress, Tommy Pham? What was that?
The guy's delusional. The guy's absolutely delusional. What's crazy is that we keep hearing reports of like how good of a teammate he is too.
I don't get it.
I don't get that.
I'll be the first to acknowledge. I'm not in the major league.
It's probably the guy you love to play with but hate to play against.
I could understand that after like maybe the first or second incident. You're like, okay, maybe there's just more to this guy that we don't really know. But it's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
It's like we don't need to play it again, but if you go back and listen to that audio from the post-game presser, it sounds like pouty, like at the end when he's talking about like, it is what it is, man. Take it that what you will. Like he just sounds like pouty and just like constantly angry and just looking. And I get it, man. People have different life stories than me. And like certain
sure.
upbringings
For sure.
can
100%.
lead you to have that kind of mentality. So I get that from that
100%.
point of view. But from a baseball perspective, if you consistently talk about how you're this guy that can just end somebody's career, end somebody's life from all these classes that you're taking, then like one of these instances, maybe let that show. If that's what you're truly about, if that's what you've made your identity to be, then let it show.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just all talk.
I agree. I agree.
For the record, I'm not volunteering to be confronted by Tommy Pham. I'm not saying that.
He would kick my ass.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Can we've talked about the play itself. Can we talk about the call? Did you by chance hear the call?
No. I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear. So okay. Oh, this would be good. So the White Sox announcer, I don't even remember the guy's name. I looked it up today and already forgot. Probably for good reason. The guy stinks.
Tough.
Remember earlier this year where it was the walk off? I want to say it was a Gavin Sheets walk off, and he's like, for all the haters, the second time, like for the first time all season, the White Sox have won 2 in a row. We talked about this. You remember this?
Yeah.
And he's like, Southside, stand up. You remember that? Yeah. Okay. So it's the same guy, and the guy stinks. But we need to run through that call because it was terrible.
Please.
Here's the throw to the plate. And he's out. And Contreras is barking at him. Tommy Pham barking back. He's not backing down. He doesn't like that. And now home plate umpire Edwin Jimenez has to hold back Pham. Nah, we ain't taking that. We ain't taking that from the Brewers. I don't care how many L's we got this year. We ain't taking that.
That's basically it. Like,
that's the cringiest thing I've ever
heard. Are
heard.
you kidding me? I saw a tweet today that said it sounded like a drunken frat bro.
Yeah.
Trying to like,
we ain't taking that.
Throw hands with somebody. How old are you?
I don't understand that. I don't understand that, dude. Like I've listened to a lot of baseball, and like I understand being slightly biased towards your team. I understand like a local guy being rooting for your team. That was not good. That's just bad broadcasting. That's tough. That's a real tough look. There's a whole lot wrong going on in Chicago.
We ain't taking that from the Stop, man.
You are. You're taking it from everybody.
You're literally taking it from everybody.
The whole season. You're taking it from everyone. Everyone gets the right to bark at you.
Was it 11 straight now? Are they even playing tonight? Probably
miserable.
They probably hope they're off.
And here's the thing is that Tommy Pham's going to make us eat our words. He's going to get traded. He's going to go play for a contender. There's a lot of rumblings about the Braves, and he's probably going to have some great postseason performance. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a good ball player, and he dominates lefties. And, you know, sometimes you need a tough guy in that clubhouse, but like, it's just a reoccurring theme here. Yeah, I agree, Andrew. I agree.
Andrew says, as much as I dislike Pham, I feel like deep down he'll be a Brave after the trade deadline and lead us back to the World Series. Yeah, that would be that. It's just
perfectly
it's one of those,
ironic.
Yeah, it's one of those guys that you just truly deep down don't really want to see succeed, but they not only do they find success, they just go on to have these moments where it's like, all right, well, sick. There's nothing I can really say to that. So
right.
That's kind of where we're at. Yeah, just a mess, man. But you said it best. The White Sox are taking it from everybody. So I mean, what? I don't even care.
It's a miserable franchise to watch.
They're honestly on pace to be one of the worst of all time.
I think I'd rather watch the Marlins. I really would.
I think they're actually on pace to.
I'd rather watch the Rockies.
The A's.
I'd rather watch the Rockies. I would rather watch any other team than the White Sox.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Unreal.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff.
I know you got to get out of here. We'll keep it quick here, though. Blake Snell back to the IL.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Friend to friend here. Should I drop Blake Snell from the fantasy squad?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, is it worth even holding out hope for maybe a bounce back later in the year?
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. There's so many. This is such an unfortunate thing because, like, I'm never root for a guy's like demise or downfall, but like, there were so many people saying this, and it was obvious when we watched free agency. It was smacked us right in the face that there wasn't a ball club that was willing to meet his / Scott Boris's ask. We saw this. Everyone saw this. And I think fans were like, nah, that's crazy. Got to give the NL Cy Young his money. This is what we've seen a lot of his career. This has happened a lot of times. Like this isn't new.
Not this bad, dude.
I know the injuries, and like I know that's a factor. And I know missing spring training is a huge factor. And that's kind of your own camp's fault, by the way. Like, I don't think we could just sit here and be like, oh, poor Blake Snell. No, like, you and your camp decided to not pull the trigger on a lot of teams, including the Yankees, who made a bigger offer than what he ended up getting. It's just nuts. When I was watching the other day, it was on his 99th pitch. And it was in the middle of an at-bat, and it was kind of a big moment in the game. I think the Yanks were down like 3-1 or something like that. And he like tweaked the back, and I was like, really? So like this was going to be his last hitter. It's 100 pitches. There was a guy in the bullpen trying to get hot. And I was like, now he walks off, and this, the next guy gets as much as he wants to warm up. And I thought that's what it was. I really thought it. And then the IL stint, and I'm like, dang. This is real.
No, at that point, I think he had given up 3 because I kept seeing a lot of people talking about how that was somehow one of the best starts he's had this season of the 6 starts he's had, which like 3 runs given up over. I think he was into the 6th, maybe.
Yeah, I think he got into the 6th.
That's not terrible by any stretch, but for you to sit there and say like that's his best start of the season, coming off a Cy Young season, that's indicative of just his current situation. And
where Soto got you, like, yeah, deep too. Soto went over Triple's alley, left on left.
Unreal.
Yeah, I would drop him. I would.
I think I may have to, even though you're probably going to come in and scoop him up. And stash
I'm
him.
good.
It's
I'm
all right.
set.
It's all right. It's all right. Spencer Torkelson. Talking about being dropped, sent down to AAA to hopefully figure this thing out. It was funny.
It's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, for sure. Former number 1 overall pick in the 2020 draft.
ASU kid.
I saw a video, which I had never seen before. And honestly, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, as time passes, we're going to start seeing more of this. Is I saw a clip of him. I want to say it was from like a perfect game thing, or
like a
like
showcase.
But it was more of like just like a standard highlight reel. It looked like of just him taking swings. I don't think it was in a game. But I'm sitting there thinking, like, as more time passes, and the more video and things that are being taken of these guys as they come up, like we're going to be able to reference these earlier videos a lot more than we used to be able to back in the day. But anyway, it was a video of him taking hacks, and the poster or the person that tweeted the video said something to the effect of, I wish I could have figured this out then what we know now, and it was something to the effect of it's a pretty unathletic kid that just was able just figured out how to mash. And if you go back and look at this video, and I get it, he's like, I want to say he was 12 or 14 in the video.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look, you're like, that looks like the kid you played in like coach pitch with, and you're like, he's probably not going to amount to anything. But somehow he figured out a way to make it work and become a number 1 overall pick. But it just makes you wonder, like, was there like a learned mashing there with Spencer Torkelson that somehow maybe has been lost a little bit as of late, and he's struggling to recapture that?
Yeah, it's definitely a confidence issue too. Because I mean, like, when he first came up, like, this is a hopeless Tigers team. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot going on. It doesn't seem like there's much hype, and it's like you're making that transition over from third to first, but you're also in this weird spot where like Miguel Cabrera is still here. It was a hard way to come up and like just sit. And it was a hard way to like not get consistent normal ABs. I think like we got to remember that he's still young. So I'm not like overreacting here. I think it's a good thing that he's going down. I like that he's going to get more time. Any of my like hitting nerds out there, I would expect him to probably spread out a little bit, get into his legs a little bit. And I could see the hands getting lower a little bit. He's really like quick. He's like, you know, that down angle, like get it backspin, but he's very in and out of the zone. I think you're going to see that swing kind of like flatten out if he does find success. And that was like Jose Abreu's issue, right? Like not a lot of launch angle, in and out of the zone, gets sent down. It seems like he's starting to come around, but like flatting out a little bit, getting, you know, a little more barrel lag. So I think that's probably going to happen for him if he does find success, which I hope he does, because the dude can hit. And I'm liking what the Tigers are like putting together. So hope he finds success. Hope he's back, and it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Javi Baez even put the nail in the coffin of the Red Sox over the weekend. So, you know, maybe things are looking up for the Tigers. So
yeah,
would like Spencer Torkelson to be a part of that.
And I hope that conversation was just like, dude, go get right. Get back here as soon as you can.
Yeah.
I hope that's what it was. So I hope he takes it that way.
Any thoughts on this betting scandal before we get out of here? I didn't really know what to take of it.
I don't know. I didn't know who that was. Did you?
Tucapita Marcano?
Yeah.
I know I'm butchering that.
Yeah.
Tusapita?
Never heard of her.
Tucapita.
Adios. Good luck.
Tucapita Marcano. Facing a potential lifetime ban for betting on baseball after the MLB received info that he wagered on games involving the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was with the team last year. Has yet to be formally penalized.
I hate it.
This is all according to ESPN. Has yet to be formally penalized.
I thought he got the life sentence, or not sentence, but lifetime ban.
Yeah, he's dead. They're going to shoot him.
Yeah.
They're going to show up to his door and they're going to shoot him.
It's possible.
They're gonna literally just right to the dome on his front porch.
I think I saw on that update too. There's like 3 or 4 more names.
Yeah, there's what is it here?
We didn't get the names, but
4 other minor leaguers facing potential discipline as well for gambling.
It's crazy, man. That's crazy.
MLB Rule 21 explicitly states that a player who bets on games involving his own team is subject to a lifetime ban. Oh, this is important.
I think we're officially in that generation that doesn't know who Pete Rose is. I think we're officially there. Like kids that are like, never heard of him. I don't know who Pete Rose is. They've probably never even heard that story.
Yeah. They're probably
saying?
hearing about Tucapita Marcano going, whoa, man, this has never happened. Well, it has.
Especially guys that like maybe not Americans that did like grow up like hearing that name as a kid. You know?
Yeah.
Like I bet these people don't even know. Scary.
Apparently he was on the IL when he was placing the bets.
Sure, why not? What else we got going on? Kick back. hang out, throw some bets out there, chilling on the couch. It's tough, man.
If anything, if he ceases living, just know that Manfred was the one that pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Pete Rose has a real big opportunity here. If these names were bigger, Pete Rose would have a real big opportunity. How is David Fletcher still allowed to do what he's doing?
Have they not shot him yet?
I'm confused. I'm confused as like his name came out in the Otani report and he's still just throwing knuckleballs. AAA.
Well, I think what's going to happen is first they have to take care of Ipe. So they're probably going to put him in a jail cell, shoot him there. And then once they take care of that, once you forget about him, then they're going to move to David Fletcher, probably out in a field somewhere. Just take him out, just bury him right there with that headstone. And then Tucupita Marcano.
Yep.
Take him out right on his front porch, right on his doorstep.
Sad, man. Just sad. It's a tough story. This is the Manfred world now.
That's how he handles his business. He got tired of hearing about how lightly he took it on teams like the Astros and whatnot. He said, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna take it to the other end of the extreme."
Yep. Oh well.
It's gonna show up in a mask. Take these guys out. All right. That's all we got. Try to keep it quick, but
yeah,
you know how that goes.
Yeah. Last thing, I randomly found out I have Tyler Rogers' number in my contacts. Did I tell you this before?
You have never once mentioned that.
No idea. I was like scrolling through, you get like the suggested friends from your contacts on like social media. Tyler Rogers pops up and it's like he's in a Giants uniform and he's like got his arm around his twin brother in like a minor league uniform. They're from Colorado, but it comes up as suggested and I'm like, okay. So then I like go to my phone and look it up and I got his number and I'm like, how did we play together at some point? Like, how did this? It's so weird. Not Trevor's. I don't have Trevor's, but I do have Tyler's, who's the righty from underneath.
Well, I mean, if you really want to get a hold of Trevor, I'm sure you could just reach out to Tyler. I mean,
it's super weird. I don't know either of them.
Touch.
I don't remember either, but they went to high school down the road.
I bet you played with him and just didn't even realize it. Just didn't follow his career path the rest of the way, and turns out he was a big leaguer. It's
pretty cool. Whatever. That's all I got. That's my fun statement of the day.
Love that. All right. Well, again, apologize for the shakeup in the schedule. We really try to keep it to Sunday, Wednesdays, but there was nothing to talk about when we sat down yesterday. And then fortunately we had fortunately or unfortunately, depending upon if you're a White Sox fan, had the Tommy Pham thing
Snell.
pop up.
Yeah.
And the Snell news, and I think even the Torkelson news. So fortunately we had some things pop up, but we should hopefully be back Wednesday.
Yeah.
Barring any shakeup or emergency. So we will talk to you guys then.
Yes, sir. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all. And as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.